This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. Because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by the National Rifle Association. From the CZ Studios.
They're never going to stop us here.
Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
All right, guys, here we go. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense begins on a Tuesday, second day into your week. Greg was thinking it was a Wednesday today, or I guess, Greg, you said it felt like a Wednesday.
Yeah, it feels like a Wednesday, but we know it's not.
It does feel like a Wednesday, but I'm on limited sleep, man. I'm on like 6 hours over the last 3 nights. Got a lot going on, just busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, with stuff I don't like to do.
Yeah, it's that time of year.
Well, anybody that's filed their tax extensions knows exactly what I'm talking about, so I'm not going to remind you of that. Sorry, guys, had to bring that up. Misery loves company, don't you know? Hey, before I get started today, I want to point out it is Charlie Kirk's birthday today. Happy birthday. And a lot of people wearing red today. And it dawned on me, I looked for something red, Greg. All I have is a red. The only red thing I have is a red Bud's Gun Shop shirt. Why wouldn't you wear it? Because it's long sleeve, bro. And I can't do that in here at this time of year.
Yeah, I meant to wear red today as well. I thought about that on Thursday, Friday, and here we are today, and I forgot it completely.
Yeah, so I want to apologize for that, but no, that's why we're saying happy birthday to Charlie Kirk, the legend, the man himself. Yeah, and by the way, I've been talking about my kids going out to Phoenix, right?
Yep.
We've doubled their attendance in our house. Just booked the flights yesterday, last night late. So we've got
the Turning Point event
for Freedom Fest, coming up in towards the end of December. It's a week before Christmas, which is kind of a tough week to get, out there at that time of year in that area, Scottsdale, Phoenix. A lot of people going out there at that time of year to get out of the snow and all that garbage. But so we booked it. We doubled up. So I've got a niece and nephew going with both of my kids. So we've doubled our attendance. I have a feeling this is going to be huge.
It's probably going to be the largest attended event that he's probably ever, his company has ever thrown.
No question about it. And, the guys over at Turning Point are making some bold predictions over there about universities. We'll talk about that with Lee the Gunwriter Williams. So anyway, welcome in, guys. Great to have you here in the CZ Studios. Mark Walters in front of the Patriot Mobile microphone here. And it's all being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. We appreciate that very much. Please visit all of our partners at armedamericanradio.com. We are live on facebook.com/armedamericanradio and all other platforms. I'll get it out.
At some point.
I'll get it out. Greg with an R. I'll let you do your shtick, and we'll go over to our guest, Lee the Gunwriter Williams. We have him for the hour.
Sure. Other places to watch the show are going to be YouTube and Rumble. Just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. Over at X, we're at AAR Mark. You can head over to armedamericanradio.org or .com, hit that menu icon, then select your watch live or listen live option. And to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
That'll do it. Lee the Gunwriter Williams, welcome in, my brother from another mother. How you doing today? There he is. I hear you now. Let's try it again. Welcome in, Lee the Gunwriter Williams, my brother from another mother. How you doing today, bud?
I'm doing fine. It's busier. It's a busy day, put it that way.
It been busy on your end too? I mean, it's been like that here.
Yeah.
So I guess that it just is what it is. It's just one of those busy weeks, right?
Absolutely. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Yeah, well, okay. I don't want to talk about why it's been busy for me for the last couple of days, but anyway, the government might cut me off again today. They have a tendency to do that when they don't like what we're talking about. At least that's what we surmise anyway. So, Lee, let's start with some breaking news. You and I talked today. You have a piece up today. You have been following the Tate Adamiak story relentlessly and religiously about the ATF and the bang job that he got from the ATF and doing 20 years in the slammer, this young kid. But there's been, he had an appellate court hearing about a month and a half ago?
About a month ago, to the day, yeah.
Okay, we have news. What happened?
The appellate court issued their opinion today, and it's the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit. It's federal. Mm-hmm. The judge's verdict was mixed. They agreed that one of his convictions violated the double jeopardy clause of the Fifth Amendment. But as to his other issues, the judges wrote, and I quote, "We discern no reversible error." So they charged him twice with what they said was a machine gun, even though it wasn't a machine gun.
Right.
So they said that they're going to have to, the judge is going back to the judge, and she's going to have to take time off of this 20-year sentence. Well, now there's like 80 different ways she could take time off, depending on how bad an hombre she still believes he is. And I firmly believe the guy violated no law at no point in time. He's totally innocent, and he should be released from prison. But this could end up actually taking 10 years off his sentence.
Because of this one, because of this one.
One, yeah. They wrote that he was guilty of possessing and receiving an unregistered firearm, and then possessing and transferring a machine gun. It's the same damn gun, but it's not a gun. It's parts. It's parts. So you got to play their game for part of it. So it's going back to his original judge, and she's going to have to resentence, and that's the scary part. And Tate said, quote, "I'm disappointed in the decision, but I look forward to returning to court."
You know, I can't.
Well, anybody, I don't care. Anybody that's read or heard any of the stories is going to be disappointed. They took no action. The appellate court took no action, basically, about all this false evidence. I mean, look at this ATF kid who was in there, Jeff Brodell, a former gun dealer who joins ATF for reasons unknown, writes this crap report that's thick with false and misleading claims. I mean, they reworked the guns. They reworked an air rifle and got it to fire a single 9mm round, and he says it's a machine gun. Crap like that. So depending upon what's allowed at the hearing, Tate's attorneys could ask some questions and present evidence that was not allowed during the trial. Remember, they wouldn't allow his expert to testify. Former ATF senior official was not allowed to testify. They may also get to challenge some of these sentencing enhancements, which have turned him into a criminal. But it's not yet known, brother, how much of those 20 years are going to cut off. And he's 31 now, and he's been in prison for nearly 3 years. That's what we know.
I cannot imagine sitting in a jail cell. Number one, not even being able to attend my own hearing. Number two, waiting, rotting in a federal penitentiary for a response. Then you're a human being. You want to keep your hopes up. Maybe you convince yourself, I don't know, I've never been in a slammer. You know, your mind plays tricks on you. You have to deal with this. You've got to go into survival mode all day. Maybe your thought process is different. Maybe you just forget about it and, hope for good news and expect the worst to make you feel better and not so bad if you don't get the good news. But I cannot imagine sitting behind bars, the stress of this, even at his age, and then getting a response like this. Now, look, that's like saying, I'm $100,000 in debt, but we're going to take $100 off. Woo! Or even 50 grand, even if they took half, right? Okay, so I'm still 50 grand, whatever. It doesn't seem to help the situation. Maybe you rationalize that in your head. I can do 10 years. I've already got 3. I've only got 7 left. I can do that standing on my head. I don't know. I don't know what goes through a guy's mind.
I went through every single item of evidence that they claimed was illegal. Every single item, and we proved there's not one on there that's illegal. Most of the time, they took crap, like
again, I smell
parts and cut them in half.
Well, there's something rotten in Denmark here, to use that old term, right? That a judge would look at. I don't know how much of that came up in the appeal.
The judge is extremely liberal, quite frankly.
Okay, so the judge probably buys in. Go ahead.
Yeah. The judge bought in on everything. They were stressed, and they were talking about this machine gun that he allegedly had was an air rifle.
Okay, but here's the problem. Here's what's rotten in Denmark. The judge buys into this. It's a liberal judge, obviously.
Yep.
The judge buys into the government's case, does not know a machine gun, was not allowed to bring the evidence that we're talking about before the judge. Not giving the judge a pass here. Judges need to do their homework. But if there's decisions that were not, or if there's evidence that wasn't allowed in that the jury never heard, and the judge isn't aware of what we're talking about. So you've got to move it up the ladder. I mean, what are you doing? We're getting ready to take a break. Let's just kind of contemplate this over the break. I've got a couple more questions. I'm sure something will pop in my head over the next 4 minutes. Guys, you're on the Armed American Radio Network with me, Mark Walters. I'm filling your prescription for freedom today and every day. We're talking with Lee, the Gunwriter Williams, Second Amendment Foundation investigative journalist. He is the real deal. And we'll continue the conversation. Then we'll talk about whatever we want to. Hell, we might even Google gun control on a Tuesday today, just because we can. We'll be back. Don't go away. Back after the break on the flip side. I'll bring the camera back in a minute. I'll wait until see how long it takes for somebody to say, well, it's too late.
The following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, welcome back to the show indeed. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom in front of the Patriot Mobile microphone here at the Patriot Mobile Communication and Command Center here at the ranch in the CZ Studios. You guys can have Patriot Mobile phones too. It's really easy to do. patriotmobile.com/AAR. Get a free month. Give your money to businesses that want to assist you and fight for your causes, literally fight for your causes. Patriot Mobile shows up at every single major gun rights event with a booth at every single one of them. Your gun rights. Check and see if AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile are there with booths. They're not. You see how it works? patriotmobile.com/AAR. Get great service and give your money, because you got a phone. You got to have it anyway. As much as I hate it, I know. Believe me, I'd like to throw mine out. But I can't. So I have Patriot Mobile on this line. It's real simple. You can do the same thing. You can move 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines, 4 lines, whatever. You can do it all at one time. Your business, everything. Great offerings at patriotmobile.com/AAR. Take advantage of the great discounts. Lee the Gunwriter Williams, welcome back in, brother.
Thanks, man. Great to be here, especially today.
Yeah, so I have some questions. I was thinking about this during the break. I wrote a couple things down. But, I made the comment that something just smells wrong here. Right? There's something wrong in Denmark, or whatever that saying is. When you have all of this evidence that we know, because I've looked at everything too, I know you have. Nobody investigates journalistically like you do ever. And I know you're on this, and I know you know that the things that he's in jail for, I can buy right now today on gunbroker.com. Or a host of any other places. Single item.
I put links to every single item that he's been charged with. They all go to gunbroker.com, and you don't even need a 4473. You just send him the money.
All right, so this tells me a couple things. Let's just kind of try to break this down, because this really is flabbergasting. How's that for a word? Fun word, right? Ooh, that's fun to say.
Yeah.
But there's something wrong. And the appellate judge, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want anybody to be confused. This was an appellate judge.
Judges.
Was it a 3 judges? So this was a 3-judge panel. Do you know what the ruling was? 2-1-3? How did that break out? Do we know?
No, they don't say. They don't say.
We don't know how each one, or what. Maybe one other judge said these charges should all be dropped, and the other 2 said no. We will never know that. But here's where this gets me. Because we know this kid has been wronged. Evidence was not brought into
100%.
trial. So the trial court judge, who it's going back to after the appellate hearing with the 3-judge panel, is going to send it back to the original judge, who refused to let the information in. Therefore, I'm wondering, did the appellate court even get that information? Likely not. So the appellate court's ruling on this, not knowing that information. So here's my question, Lee, in a long-winded way, because I got to get this out. When it goes back to the trial judge, can the attorneys then bring up all of this that they were not allowed in the first trial?
They were allowed to tell the appellate judges anything they wanted. And Tate's team sent in, or his attorney, his appellate attorney, sent in a 60-page statement, 60 pages about what was wrong. But the appellate judges they don't seem to care. And,
okay,
again, it's a case, it's a system that doesn't want to admit it's screwed up. And they're willing to leave an innocent man behind bars.
All right, this is why I find this so hard to believe.
Wrong.
This is why I find this so hard to believe, that you have a 3-judge panel, not one of them or all of them can look at that evidence and say, look, these parts can be purchased. None of this makes sense to me. As hard as I've thought about this, I cannot say, oh, well, maybe. I can't come up with anything. Is there anything out there we don't know? Is there something you don't know?
I wish there was, brother, but I have followed this case. I have dove into it like you cannot imagine. I've read every single thing there is to read about this. Tate should not be in prison. These things, these devices, these parts, they're gun parts that he was convicted of owning that you can buy right now online, and they'll ship it to your house.
Yeah, well, this is why there's something else, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know, and I wasn't there, and I've not done the work you have. I've spoken to you at great length about this, both on air and off air. You gave a report to us at the board meeting at the Gun Rights Policy Conference on this very case because of the extensive work
Correct.
that you've done here. So now, what is his next step at the appellate level now?
He's going to get a hearing, and they're going to have to, hopefully, the judge will allow him to present new evidence and to ask questions of the man that basically ruined Tate's life because he can. So hopefully he'll get his chance to ask some questions that were not allowed during the trial and to present evidence that was not allowed during the trial. Now, if he doesn't, if they just say, okay, that's it. That's it.
Right,
the only person who could help him would be the Supreme Court or President Trump through a pardon.
Okay, this becomes a Perry Mason moment for me if I'm the attorney, okay? Here's exactly what I would do if I were the attorney. And if there's any attorneys out there listening, IANAL, is that what the internet acronym is? I am not a lawyer. However, I've watched a lot of them, and I'm going to try to play one on radio right now, okay? Usually you say I'm not a lawyer, and I'm, not trying to play one on TV or whatever it is. But if I'm the attorney, here's what I'm going to do in that rehearing, that retrial. That's a retrial, right? It's not. Is it just sentencing?
No, it's a sentencing. It's a sentencing, okay. But he might be able to present some evidence during the sentencing.
All right. So if I'm the attorney, I'm going to play Perry Mason. Now, Perry Mason didn't have internet, didn't have laptops, none of that stuff. In fact, he lived his life in black and white, as far as I know. The color wasn't even invented then. Okay, that's back when life was black and white, ladies and gentlemen. You catch my drift. So if I'm the lawyer, I'm going to bust my computer out in court in front of that judge, and I'm going to go on Gunbroker right there in the courtroom, and I'm going to order those parts. I'm going to order every single thing he's in jail for in front of the judge.
It would take you about 10 minutes, if that.
Okay, lawyers, get creative. Now,
put me in jail too.
Well, I would go as far as even saying I'd order him before trial and bring it all to court and go, here's everything he's in jail for. I just bought him. Here's the receipts. Here's the shipping documents. Here's the packing slips. Here's the Amazon. Here's the pictures of it being delivered. Everything this young man is in jail for, I just ordered, and it's right here. And then the doors kick open in a Perry Mason moment, and in comes a wheelbarrow full of crap. You going to put me in jail too, Your Honor? I just bought everything. Lawyers, I don't know if that's showmanship. I don't know if you gals do that in court anymore. I don't know. But it sure would make a great TV moment, I'll tell you that. Because none of this makes sense.
It would keep an innocent man out of prison. It would keep an innocent man out of prison, which is where he's going to stay for the next 17 years unless something happens.
Something's going to happen. I'm going to tell you that right now. And when we come back from this break, I'll tell you what I think might be happening. Well, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm gonna throw something at you and let you answer if you think I could be right, because this goes to strategy, and now I'm talking about from the administration. When we come back, we continue the conversation with Lee, the gunwriter Williams, here on the Armed American Radio Network today. The CZ Studios fired up. It's all being brought to you by the National Rifle Association, who I know is aware of this as well, for a fact. We'll discuss everything when we come back. Guys, just so you know, I am aware that the camera wasn't up in the previous segment. Let the logo spin. Just trying something behind the scenes here, but you still have us. Welcome in. We will be back at 34 after the hour in about 3.5 minutes, roughly, maybe 3 minutes. It looks like I'll be heading up to Nick's in the very near, Bud's gun shop in the very, very near future to do a live broadcast, which is always a lot of fun. And I said Nick's because I was talking with Nick at Bud's gun shop, so that's how that one went out. That AC going in here feels good. Walked out here this morning. We're at that part of the year, Greg, where you come out in the morning, the grass is wet, the air is chilly. You come in the studio, it's a little bit cool. You crank the temperature from 70 to 73. About 2 hours later, it's hot as crap.
Yep.
Guitar tuning's all screwed up. Boy, about another 2 weeks, that's going to really be a mess. Trying to keep the guitars tuned up at this time of year is coming into the fall and winter is a, let's just say it's a bit bear.
The time of year where we're using the heater in the morning and the AC in the afternoon.
Got the one down by the feet, you know.
Yep.
But I could, don't have a whole lot more to complain about than that. I guess I'm doing okay. And as far as the guitars are concerned, it just gives you more reason to fiddle with them, guys. And if you play guitar, the one sitting behind me now is an absolutely gorgeous Les Paul 60 Standard, Blueberry Burst, just absolutely beautiful guitar. I was just telling Greg during the break, I have a gorgeous Marshall amp, looking to pick up a DSL 100 or a 800 Marshall head. Those of you who know the guitars and amps know the quality of those two, particularly the 800. With a single stack or even a double stack, which is just, talk about powerhouse. I could literally knock the walls down of this place with that. It's just one of those things I want to have. But I'm having more fun with the SG. The thought of selling this guitar or trading it in is going through my mind, and I hate that when I look at the guitar because it's too beautiful. It's the first real guitar I bought after I started to learn how to jam.
The following segment of Armed American Radio is proudly being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, defending freedom is absolutely vital in today's day and age. The anti-gunners are going absolutely bonkers. Look what's going on in California, and we'll talk with Lee about this upcoming in the next two segments, but banning Glocks in California, House Bill 1127 passed, of course, and of course, Newsom's never met an anti-gun bill, even though he's such a huge supporter of the Second Amendment. I know that because he said that. I heard him. I watched it. But he bans an entire class of firearms, meaning a brand, Glock, because he doesn't like them because of a illegal Glock switch pouring in from China that gangbangers are using. Therefore, every law-abiding American that lives in California now can't have a Glock. You know who's spearheading the lawsuit? The National Rifle Association. Everybody else is joining the NRA in this suit. It's sad, but this is how we have to defeat the commies. We got to take them to court, and we have to win. And we need your help to do it. That's nra.org/AAR, nra.org/AAR. And we're going to send you the range bag for a 1-year renewal or a 3-year renewal or new join, either one. And 5-year life, we're going to send you the binoculars, 10x42 with the lens caps, the case. So please, please get engaged. Please, won't you help us? Not only that, if you love this show, all of our partners are what makes it all possible. Without them, we're not here. So we ask you to please support our partners. It's $35. Get Armed American Radio out of the deal for another 17 years, and you get a great deal at the National Rifle Association, and you have some skin in the game. And that makes it even that much more important to you when you listen to these conversations and you participate in the chat and you get involved at the state level and join your other groups, it becomes really fun to do. And it is absolutely critically important. So please visit the National Rifle Association. Once you do that today, get off the fence. $35 for a 1-year membership, $85 for 3, $125 for 5. And those are discounted rates, guys. And $1,000 for life. Pick up the cool free stuff we're going to send you. And when it's all said and done and all those free things are gone, we're going to send one winner a brand new, different style range bag loaded with Armed American Radio sponsor swag stuff. So it's cool. It's a win-win all the way around. Won't you please help us? NRA.org/AAR. And join. Please do that today. Get off the fence. You need to. We need you to do it. All right? The country needs you to do it. It's that simple. Welcome back in. Guys, you can find all of our other partners too, including Bud's Gun Shop and Crossbreed Holsters and all the rest. We'll talk about them coming back up next. But you can find them all at armedamericanradio.com. Lee the Gunwriter Williams. So, I'm talking about that, what I guess I could call that a My Cousin Vinny type moment, right? I would love to see an attorney do that. And I'm looking at the chat here, and I see that I believe it was Angeline in the chat that just put out that the ATF is involved in more stings at Gunbroker. I don't know that to be the case. I don't have any statistics on that whatsoever. It would certainly make sense to me if the ATF is going to be pulling stings that they would go to large sites. But I find that, I don't put anything past the ATF. I certainly wouldn't under a Biden administration. I would under a Trump DOJ. Now, here's the question I wanted to ask before we got cut off by the break. Is it possible that the administration is not acting on a pardon yet because this part of the playbook has to be played out before it does everything have to be exhausted? I know the answer to that question is no. Trump can pardon anybody he wants. But are they allowing this process to play out before possible pardon? Do you know anything about that?
Do I know anything about that officially? No. Is that something they could consider? Yes. Is that fair to Patrick Tate or Adamiak, who's been sitting in prison for damn near 3 years for having done nothing wrong? No. I would hope that they'd read the stories and get him out ASAP. The kid, like I said, we both know he wants to be leading a SEAL platoon. That's his dream. He wants to. He was a Navy sailor. He'd been accepted to SEAL school. He wants to go and lead SEALs into combat, which is not a bad thing to do. So no. Is it possible though? Absolutely. Nothing is impossible in politics. We both know that.
Well, I tell you, just to let you know how important the work that, not me, you, collectively as gun rights activists, how important the work is. And it is seen, I can promise you. I was just on Cam and Company today. And guys, I want you to go watch that at Town Hall. It's a great conversation. You're going to want to hear it. I don't want to steal any thunder from that, but it was a tough conversation to have because we were having to examine our own selves. And that's always tough to do, right? So go watch it, Cam and Company. You can find it at Town Hall. You can find it at bearingarms.com. And I was the guest today on the show. So go see that. It was a fun one with Cam. It always is. But here's how I know we're watched and listened to. I know that for a fact. Okay, I can name some of the alphabet soup agencies that have heard the program. Other news agencies have picked up what we've talked about. There's been columns written, so it's real. And it makes an impact. But Jared Yanis over at Guns and Gadgets put some information out about it's not the Reese case. It was another case. Forgive me. I forget which case it was. We've covered so many of them recently, where his position was essentially that the government shouldn't be fighting some of these cases at gun control in the Trump administration, particularly after Trump's executive order. And Dylan herself picked up on Jared's comments and made a comment about it and said, infighting amongst ourselves is not a way to take things. So, guys, it matters. So, Lee, the point that I'm making is your stories are going to get legs. There's no question. And I know people high up the chain have seen this. I am only hopeful that somebody that can ring the doorbell at the Oval Office brings this to Trump. AWR's pieces were referenced 3 times and retweeted by the White House press secretary just last week. So it matters. What we do matters, and it does get heard, right? I'm hopeful, Lee. I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible here in the face of I don't know what the hell is going on and why story. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think that you might have touched on it earlier. They might be waiting until the case solves itself a bit, in that he's resentenced and to spend the next 7 years in prison as opposed to the next 17. We shall see. I deal with concrete things that I can hold in my hands, and right now I'm telling you, brother, this has got me. This has got me so damn angry right now. I mean, I've never been this angry. And you know, part of that is, the big part of that is, if you have half a brain, you should be able to see that what they're doing is wrong. And I can't understand why people can't see that. It's not even a close second on some of this crap. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying. And I do believe that people who understand, people that follow Armed American Radio, that follow Cam and Company, that read your work, that read AWR, that are involved, understand this. And it's as frustrating for all of us. Now, we're not near as neck deep in this as you are. And I can promise you, from the folks that I've talked about, you know, somewhat up the chain in the activist movement anyway, have looked at this and just, they're shaking their head like we are. Okay? I you know, leaving a talk radio host speechless is tough to do. It happens from time to time. This is one of them. Because I want to say that there's no possible way our justice system could do this. Let's think about this for a second, okay? You kind of alluded to it in a previous segment, that it's a system that doesn't want to work, right? Or a system that doesn't. I mean, to think that this is a conspiracy, you're talking about multiple judges, multiple lawyers, multiple prosecutors that would have to be involved. I don't buy into that. I'm sorry, I'm not buying into that, which is why I'm saying something else is in play.
I think what we're dealing with are a bunch of lazy damn people. I wonder how many of the 60 pages that his attorney pointed out and sent them were even read.
Yeah, that's a great point.
That's what really gets me.
All right, we're taking a break.
I honestly, I think it's lazy, folks.
Well, I think it's a combination of lazy. I think you're onto something there. It's a combination of lazy and it's a combination of ignorance, right? Where people don't know what this definition is. And there's multiple items involved here that, I mean, golly, all you got to do is go back and look at what those idiots at the ATF did, what that stupid display, the guy couldn't even disassemble a Glock that my kid could have disassembled at 10 years old 5 times and put it back together in the amount of time that ATF clown could, and he was their expert, okay? So these guys, they just don't know. And if it's not, it's got to get out there. It has to get out there. You're doing God's work on this. When we come back, we're going to switch gears. And we'll go to Glocks in California. We'll be right back. AC's going to run until I hear music. You know what I'm saying?
This segment is brought to you by Attorneys on Retainer. Get the only self-defense program for gun owners backed by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back. I am holding up my Attorneys on Retainer card. I do it every day when I'm on camera for you. Every single day. Attorneys on Retainer, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the typical insurance plan. It's attorneys. Real attorneys that you call and say, I think I might need you, after you say virtually nothing else to anyone else before you call your attorney. Your attorney. All 50 states, attorneysonretainer.us. The promo code is AAR. And it's $50 off the sign-up fee. It is $35 a month to have an attorney on retainer. At my house, it's $50 off for 4 of us, each membership, by the way. And the memberships, because of the family plan, are $25 a month per head because we have the family plan. Everybody in my family carries a firearm. Everybody in my family has an attorney. God forbid the worst day of their lives ever happen. Attorneysonretainer.us is there. You make a phone call. That's simple. I need help. It doesn't matter what state you're in. They will guide you through everything, including an investigation when you are not entitled to an attorney. You have one. And you know what? There's not a damn thing they can do about it because you have a lawyer. For $35 a month, the cost never goes up. I don't care if it's a $2 million defense, and that could easily happen if you get charged. Okay? Attorneysonretainer.us. Attorneysonretainer.us. Use that promo code AAR. Take advantage of that. Again, all of our great partners, including Bud's Gun Shop, Heaven's Harvest, Crossbreed Holsters, Car Arms, CZ USA. All of them can be found at armedamericanradio.com, including Patriots Relief, mypillow.com. Support all of these wonderful businesses. Patriot Mobile. It's why we're here, guys. We cannot do this and sustain the radio program without them, and they're great products. Best suite of partners and sponsors we've ever had on this program in 17 years, and I know that because I know a guy for 17 years. So please, please, please take advantage of all of them. Join the National Rifle Association and the rest. We're going to talk about the NRA right now with Lee, the gun writer Williams. Lee, welcome back. So it is official in California. NRA spearheading, along with the Second Amendment Foundation and the Firearms Policy Coalition, all 3 of these powerhouses have just filed suit against California's Glock ban. Now, this is a case we're going to win, guys. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're going to have to go through Ninth Circus on this, Lee. But this is a case we will win, no question about it. But look who's involved with this. NRA, SAF, and FPC locking arms and going after Newsom and the commies in California. Could it get any better than that?
Yeah, it could if they started calling it Kamala Harris's gun ban. Remember, she owns a Glock, bro.
Yeah, she does. Now, I haven't asked this question yet. What about grandfathering? Do we know? I didn't look into that enough. I don't recall seeing anything. I'm going to assume that everybody that owns it, when you're talking California, you can't assume anything. But I'll just point out, I'm going to assume that if you are a California resident, you already own a Glock, that you can keep your Glock.
Yeah.
Like Obama said, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your Glock, you can keep your Glock.
I looked at the bill. It's a lot, and it's not quite done yet. It would prohibit licensed dealers from selling, offering for sale, exchange, giving, or transfer, delivering any semi-automatic machine gun convertible pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Those little pieces of plastic are covered by federal law and are considered a machine gun themselves if you have one. Now, my problem is not the people who have Glocks. My problem is the bad guys who get caught with them. Why aren't they going away to federal prison? Where's the DEA, by the way, who should be out there conducting investigations to take down some of these gangsters who are using these damn converters?
I was on 97.1 FM, Mark Cox in the morning today. We had a little conversation about this at the tail end of our interview. And guys, I'm just going to give you the advice I gave to those listening in St. Louis on that huge drive time morning show. Don't even look for these things online. Don't even Google Glock switches.
No, God, no.
Stay away from it. Don't search anything. You're not hiding behind your keyboard, ladies and gentlemen. Assume they're watching you. There is no reason for you to do it. It is illegal. It is a violation of federal law, and you do not want to be on anybody's radar. Oh, it's okay for Trump. It ain't okay. It's illegal under federal law. Period. Just don't do it. You don't want to put yourself in that position. That's just good advice. Maybe a little paranoid, maybe not. I don't want to find out. Simple as that. But yeah, you're right. Harris owns a Glock. I forgot about that. So thanks for that reminder. Well, I have a Glock. Wouldn't you love if somebody questioned what model she has, how long she's had it? Oh, well, that would have been beautiful, but that's past history at this point. Kamala Harris.
I doubt she knows what model it is.
I doubt she has one.
Yeah. Anymore. We'll see.
Oh, good heavens. Yeah, well, I tell you. Now, I will say this. Your good friend and my good friend, Sheriff Kurt Hoffman in Sarasota, sent me I can't wait to read it. I'll get to it later today, a Second Amendment case. He sent me the attachment. And, guys, I have a feeling that that's going to come up in conversation tomorrow. Have you talked to the sheriff?
No, I have not today. However, I got the same thing, and I looked at it, and it's very interesting point of view.
Give us a rundown on it.
Very interesting.
Just give us the overall broad brush. What is it? Because I haven't gotten into it yet, but I know it's going to come up on the show tomorrow.
Okay, it all pertains to a gentleman who was arrested for owning a Glock. Forget the circuit. He was arrested for owning a Glock. Because he was a felon. Wasn't much of a felon, so the court granted his motion to dismiss the case and give him his Glock back.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, a felon in possession. He wasn't much of a felon.
Yeah, I don't think it was a violent felony. It's like a 10-page decision. I'm sorry, 5-page decision. I haven't read it all. All I know is that the charges against him for being caught with a Glock were terminated as moot because of the recent laws that we've had.
Well, according to California, Glock is a machine gun, and Tate Adamiak had toys. So none of this makes sense anymore. Of course, I'm being facetious, but I'm not.
It all depends on where you are. Yeah, I know.
Well, should it depend on where you are? No, it shouldn't depend on where you are.
Nope.
This is the United States of America, which is all 50 states, ladies and gentlemen. Not 88 or not 38 states. 88 states. I just pulled in Obama. How many 50? Well, you do Obama math, 57 plus. You get to 88 somehow.
I think this case is going to have legs. I think it'll be in
30.
Interesting to see. Lee the Gunwriter Williams, we're getting ready to close out this hour. Where can everybody find you and all the amazing work you do, my brother?
ArmedAmericanNews.org, The Gunwriter at Substack.com, or we prefer you go to SAF.org. That's Second Amendment Foundation, SAF.org.
All right, Lee, thank you very much. And when you find out anything, don't wait for Tuesdays to come up. I can bring you in here at any time. If you get any breaking stories on tape, let us know. And I know you will do that. We talk a lot. So, all right, enjoy Sarasota, Florida, brother. It's beautiful.
I will. I always do.
I miss home every single day. I miss it every day. Lee the Gunwriter Williams, everybody. He is the real deal investigative journalist over at the Second Amendment Foundation. And again, the Gunwriter. Just look up the Gunwriter, Lee Williams. You can find him anywhere. Stay off the Glock switches on your searches. Just no reason to do it. Don't put yourself on anybody's radar. Don't even go there, particularly if you live in California. They're likely watching you, every move you make. In fact, if you walk into a gun shop, you're on camera. That's for sure. And on every street corner everywhere in America, unfortunately. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, ladies and gentlemen. Going to get up and do it again tomorrow precisely because they don't want us having these conversations. That's why we do it. Enjoy your day. Stay safe. I love you. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow, guys.
You just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters. Presented by the National Rifle Association. The National Rifle Association on the Armed American Radio Network.
Right now, somebody across the country is saying, where did you get that shirt? Because let me show you the shirt again, guys. This is a cool shirt. Look at that, huh? There he is. The father of our country, rocking out a Gibson ES 335. You got to love that. Could be a 345. I don't know. Hard to tell. But if you're interested, want to know, chat us up over on Telegram if you're in there, or any of our other chats on social media, and I'll tell you where to go to get the shirt, because it's pretty cool. They got a whole bunch of other ones too. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the program today. Thanks for being here. Please support all of our great partners. You can find them all at armedamericanradio.com. It's why we're here every single day. We appreciate it very much, and all the support you've shown them over the years. We have a great group out there for you, armedamericanradio.com. Make sure to visit that. Check them all out. Join the National Rifle Association. Get you an attorney for $35 a month. Okay? Buy some Heaven's Harvest. Put your guns in a crossbreed holster. Real simple to do. armedamericanradio.com. Enjoy your day. Stay safe out there, guys. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow. Thanks for being here today.